Well, we've got something exceptionally special for you today in the video room here at HWM. We are delighted over the last few years to support all the great work that the team are doing at the Sylvia Beaufoy Centre based in Petworth. And I'm joined today by their car that's going to be racing in the upcoming season, and Dan Sneller, who runs the team for Sylvia Beaufoy. So Dan, welcome. Great to have it here on the turntable, and thanks so much for your efforts in getting it all ready. Maybe you can talk us a little bit about the Sylvia Beaufoy Centre and the work that it's been doing over the last decade.
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Dan Sneller. I'm the Senior Youth Worker at the Sylvia Beaufoy Centre. Sylvia Beaufoy Centre is a youth centre in Petworth, West Sussex, which provides lots and lots of activities for young people in and around Petworth. One of the activities we do is this Greenpower racing. Greenpower is electric racing series for secondary school age children. I've been delivering Greenpower for 10 years now this year, and shortly after I started, I was joined by one of the engineers, volunteer engineers called Nigel Bave. We build and race these electric racing cars with young people aged 11 to 16 years old. And we'll introduce you to some of the team shortly. This year we've got 29 young people taking part, and we'll be racing 4 cars. This is just one of the 4 in the lovely Aston Martin Green.
So that's really interesting. You mentioned there's 29 this year, and that you've been going for 10 years, I think you said. So how many did you originally start with, and yeah, how has that grown?
Yeah, so we started one car, which was a kit car. So it's, as it says, you buy a kit, you put it together and race it, and we had 8 young people that year. 3 years later, we bought a second kit car. Team increased to, I think, it's about 12 young people. And then in 2019, we started designing this car.
Amazing.
Built it during COVID, raced it in COVID year, and it's been growing ever since.
So what we've got here is kind of 3 to 4 years in the making, and actually to see it in the metal, as it were.
Yeah.
Must be incredible.
Yeah, it's great to see it.
Amazing. Well, look, why don't you introduce some of the team, and let's get their thoughts about being involved in the project and what it means to them, and let's do that.
So this is Nigel. Nigel joined me in 2016. Shortly after Nigel joined us, we started designing our HWM scratch build car. Nigel, can you talk us through the design process?
Yeah, the idea is to be as slippery as possible. So the plan view of this is based on aerofoils used on HPVs, and the side view is similarly HPVs, so you actually have a minimal lifting body, so you don't need any downforce with Greenpower racing, so we've kept it as neutral a body as possible.
Okay, so here we have Imogen. Imogen joined us last season for her first season. Can you tell me what your first season was like?
It was fun, and I got to learn teamwork skills and all of the achievements that I hit.
Great. And what do you think your key moment was last year?
Probably getting into the car and learning how to drive.
Great. And one of your big things was teamwork. Can you talk about a situation where you felt like you worked as a team really well?
Probably when our pit stops went downhill. They weren't very good, and then we all worked together to get them back.
Yeah, great. And you really encouraged someone who's a bit anxious about driving, didn't you? Great, thank you, Amy. Okay, so here we have Daisy. Daisy joined again first time for last season, so she's about to start her second season. Daisy, can you tell me about how 2023 was for you?
It was quite I started halfway through, so it was a bit confusing, but I started in the cars and I was a bit nervous, but I found out like I like doing in the cars, but I prefer like staying out and doing like catering and helping like all the rest of the drivers and that.
Yeah, so you've taken on the catering and hospitality part of the team, which, as we found out, particularly in Castle Combe, was a central part of the team. Castle Combe was a very, very wet, cold race day, and Daisy made sure when team members came in from outside into our paddock area, they were warming up, having hot drinks, making sure they're fed, and looked after the whole team, from the rest of the young people in the team right through to the adults, engineers who are supporting them. And she's taken that role to another level, and it's incredible. So here we have Austin. Austin has been part of the team for 4 years now. Austin, can you tell me a little bit about your 4 years?
It's been quite good. We've won some few races and I've seen the team develop quite a bit.
Great, yeah, and you saw this car and its launch at Goodwood when we did our test days at Goodwood.
Yeah, and I noticed it was considerably faster than the rest of the cars.
Yeah, great. And what skills do you think you have learned? How has that helped you in other things other than Greenpower?
I've learned quite a bit of mechanical skills, and it's helped me do stuff like fix my bike and put stuff together, that sort of thing.
Yeah, great. And you're quite a hands-on person. You want to learn trades and potentially go into some kind of trade when you leave school?
Yeah, something like an electrician, so Greenpower would really help with that.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Austin. Okay, and finally we've got Louis. Louis is in his third season now. Louis, can you tell me about your previous seasons and what you've done?
So for my past seasons, I have driven the boys' car, and this season I had the privilege to drive HWM for 2 races.
Great, Louis. And you were telling me earlier that when you go into a career, your ultimate aim would be to be the next Bono. Can you tell me a bit more about that and why that interests you?
Yeah, so I've loved Formula 1 from a young age, and I've wanted to be an engineer, so being a race engineer for an F1 driver would be a perfect thing. So Greenpower would help me with this, as I'm learning engineering to create a race strategy, how a car works and how the driver feels driving.
Yeah, great. So you really take a keen interest in talking to the other drivers when they get out of the car.
Yeah.
And you share experiences and pass your experiences on to each other.
So there you have it. We get all sorts of interesting things here in the video room, and being HWM and being the world's longest serving Aston Martin dealership and family owned, we've got the width and the breadth to get involved in all sorts of exciting projects, and we're delighted over the last few years to have chosen the Sylvia Beaufoy Centre as ours, and the work that the fraction of the team here that you can see here today are doing, and what's been impressive for us is that everybody gets involved, everybody creates a team, and everyone's pulling together to create positive outcomes on the track. It's been really inspirational, so thank you all for coming down. So Dan, as we get into the 2024 season, how can people follow the project, get involved, have a look at progress? What's the best way of doing that?
Yeah, great. So you can go to our website, which is www.sylviabeaufoy.org. There you'll see updates about not only this project, but other things we're doing as well. You'll also find links to our social medias, which will have more regular updates on. We've got 4 races booked in this season. We've got Mallory Park and Goodwood towards the end of April. And then we've got a race in Devon towards Exeter in June, and then we've got Dunsfold Park Top Gear test track in September, and then we'll hopefully, if we qualify, which I'm sure we will, we'll be at Goodwood for the international final.
That's in September, I think, or
October, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I know the team here will be following closely, and we'll even be able to get along to some of those events and see you all hard at work, making it all happen. But thanks so much for coming down today. It's a pleasure to be involved in all the hard work you're doing, and best of luck for this season.